CBS News was first to report tonight that the doctors at the last Planned Parenthood clinic, the last abortion provider in the state of Missouri, who have recently been ordered by that state to provide basically punitive, medically unnecessary pelvic exams to their patients as a new requirement for getting an abortion in that state. CBS News was first to report tonight that that clinic, the physicians at that clinic, have decided to stop complying with that order, that new order from the state government. Joining us once again is Dr. David Eisenberg. He's medical director at the St. Louis Planned Parenthood clinic that's just made this decision. Dr. Eisenberg, can you just tell us about you and your colleagues and how you arrived at this decision tonight and what you think the consequences will be as you fight to keep your clinic open?
So this is not the first time that the state has redefined already existing rules around abortion care to try to limit access to abortion care in Missouri. Last year, they forced us to start doing pelvic exams for women choosing pill abortions in Missouri. Most women who choose pill abortions all over the country don't have to take their pants off. We can determine if they're an appropriate candidate for a pill abortion with an ultrasound on their abdomen, on their lower tummy, you know. And the fact is they might have to unbutton the top of their high-waisted jeans, but that's really as invasive as it gets, and they get to administer medications then pass the pregnancy at home. It's a very common process. We were forced last year to make an impossible decision as to whether we choose to do pelvic exams for women wanting a pill abortion, knowing there's no medical utility, when the state redefined their interpretation. And we said, you know, it's not going to compromise access because we have a health center in Illinois where women can get a pill abortion the same day without a 3-day waiting period. And our physicians said, we're not going to do those pelvic exams for those women because they can get that care elsewhere. This year, despite all that conversation and the fact that the state watched me do pelvic exams prior to the procedure on the procedure day when it's medically appropriate, they said this year we're going to reinterpret the rules again and say, you know what, you got to do a pelvic exam as a part of that informed consent. I don't have an explanation for why, but what I can tell you is I work with some of the most highly trained, highly qualified, and compassionate healthcare providers, physicians, nurses, medical assistants, front desk staff, who work as a team to ensure the best quality of care for our patients. That's patient-centered and that respects our patients' values. And for the last 3 weeks, we felt like we had to make an impossible choice between ensuring access to care and compromising my medical ethics. And I've been the one to do it. And I've said to patients, I am sorry more times than I can count in the last 3 weeks. And I have to say, I'm tired of doing that. I cannot justify the harm that is being inflicted on my patients for the last 3 weeks just so they can get one of the safest types of medical care provided anywhere in this country. And the fact that Missouri is holding women's access to care hostage and threatening the last bit of abortion access we have left in the state at my health center, I think it's time for us to stand up and fight back.
Dr. David Eisenberg, Medical Director of Reproductive Health Services of Planned Parenthood in St. Louis, Missouri. I know you have an important court date this week as you fight to keep this clinic open and as you wrestle with these ethical issues and the position the state's put you in. Please keep us apprised.
We'll do the best we can, and we're going to be here to take care of patients no matter what.
We'll be right back.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.